Too much of one thing, good for nothing. Too much a good thing, never enough. I don't know why my black people cannot see. No party never care about we. Every election we so devoted. How we love up with PNM. As soon as election come and go, it's only problem after problem. How could we cope? Man lost the hope. I ain't seeing no solution. Every time PNM come in power, it takes a toll on black man. I don't want to sound like a racist, but this is what I can see. They just take care of the race, but they damn well know they have we. I want to ring my bell, wake up Eric Williams. Tell him the party found name PNM need his immediate attention. Ring the bell, wake up Mother Cornhawks. Tell she to cast a spell on we party, cause it's not what it used to be. I ring the bell, ring the bell. I ring the bell down there. I ring the bell, ring the bell. I ring the bell down there. This thing is becoming out of hand. It's time this damn nonsense stop. If you don't sing a PNM song, from Skinner Park you'll be dropped. Calypsonian could have sing what they want. We were the spokesman for the people. Eric Duffy, Chambers Dunphy. When Kamala drunk, how she like to pee. Calypsonian, no, that's no way to go. Too much happening in we country. All this killing spree, young woman body, but only about PNM you could sing. All them songs playing on the radio, all you singing with Kamala do. But when PNM do a wrong thing, I hear a word from you. I want to ring my bell, wake up Mother Carcel. Every Monday she preach on Wack Radio and is the biggest critic of Calypso. Ring the bell for Patsy and Joni. I want them two cultural lovers to know not only PNM song is Calypso. I ring the bell, ring the bell. I ring the bell down there. I ring the bell, ring the bell. I ring the bell down there. Crime will never stop in this country once black people belly empty. How could a man work in CPEP, maintain his whole family? All you say the past regime was so bad, so much wrong thing they done to we. Now that PNM take over, why poor people going hungry? When PNM win, all African grin. Now we get back we country. All they doing is complaining and ain't doing nothing for we. The mess already made, don't sit in the shade and ponder on we problem. Get off your ass and do it fast and find a way to solve them. I want to ring my bell, wake up Randolph Burrows. Tell him among all past police commissioners, up to now is he I prefer. Ring my bell, wake up the Lord Bryna. Tell him the state of Calypso today is a good thing he passed away.
Oh,
yeah, yeah. If I have no rights to privacy, well, it's best I take off my clothes. Please apologize, Mr. AG, for uttering those silly words. When Munila say, hush your stink mouth, the whole country come down on heat. Nobody tell him but nothing for calling a man stupidity. Please don't get me wrong, I am PNM strong. I will stand defend my party. But when my pocket dry and empty, everyone is my enemy. All you take with Carnival Village, no Calypsonian can't make a cent. Great is the PNM, I go sing that and pay my rent. Ring the bell.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Venison Jeffrey, and this is the Workers' Rights Platform. We are broadcasting live from the Workers' Rights Network. Now, ladies and gentlemen, today we are about to broadcast a very important broadcast today. What would have taken place during the weekend, the mainstream media might not have had this type of broadcasting in this magnitude. And there were people there like Gayelle Fabian that would have broadcast the whole thing. And tonight we are doing this joint broadcast here tonight as to highlight the many issues in which the union was highlighting. I don't think Colin and Bird have, rejected any claims I even hearing about this march that would have taken place on Saturday. Yes, it was Saturday the 7th of December. Now, what we are going to do here is broadcast this broadcast within its entirety. So many of you that are joining us live on Facebook and on YouTube, thanks for joining us here tonight. And we are doing this just to the record, a matter of fact, as to the whole account that would have taken place in front of Whitehall. People are really crying out as to the many things that are taking place within this country. A lot of people is saying yes. Right. Testing. Right. A lot of people have been talking about the thing from the union, the contribution from the union, and we would have had this thing within its entirety. Everybody that would have contributed to that, doing that broadcast, we thank you for being part of the team, and pay attention to what we are going to see or show up next. But just to say, Gayelle Fabian have been a stalwart in this whole melee when injustice would have taken place against the citizens of Trinidad and Tobago. And it's only fair that, we recognize his contribution. So this is one of the first one I would like to play before we go into the entire clip of what would have taken place Saturday. So
our Constitution.
It's not about attacking anybody. It's about empowering our citizens to understand that the fact that whether it was Section 54, whatever the incident was, Trinidad and Tobago have made it clear.
Now that was a little taste of the person that would have been always standing in the gap for the people in Trinidad and Tobago. So we jump in and head in right over to what would have taken place on Saturday. So stay tuned, we are doing this clip in its entirety. So good night to everybody, Sheldon, Candice, my mother, and everyone that is outside the Iran. They get a bike for you, boy. So we heading over to the clip.
one and all to this patriotic, country-loving, hearing about the future of our great republic. Let me welcome all of you here this morning. Let me also welcome the various trade unions present here with us, and I want to recognize them, and as I recognize them, I want you to acknowledge your presence here this morning. So let's go. The Seamen and Waterfront Workers Trade Union with us here this morning. The PSA here with us this morning. Contractor and General Workers Union here with us this morning. NUGFW here with us this morning. Communication Workers Union with us this morning. Estate Police Association here with us this morning. Prison Officers Association here with us this morning. Transport and Industrial Workers Union here with us this morning. Trinidad and Tobago Postal Workers Union here with us this morning. Trinidad and Tobago Registered Nurses Association here with us this morning. Industrial General Sanitation Workers Union here with us this morning. Trinidad and Tobago Farmers Union with us this morning. We also have Trinidad and Tobago Unified Teachers Association represented here this morning. Banking, Insurance and General Workers Union represented here this morning. ACAUL, the union that represents the flight attendants in Cal, here with us this morning. Steel Workers Union of Trinidad and Tobago, here with us this morning. And before we go any further, I want to make special mention of 3 groups of workers, quite apart from all of the other workers who are today reeling under pressure from the victimization of a spiteful and wicked regime. But before we do that, before we identify the concerns of all of the workers, I want to identify and have recognized here this morning 3 groups of workers who are today at the front of the struggles in the streets. I want to recognize for their struggle over the past few weeks the Tech comrades, the Tech workers engaging in struggle, sacrificing time outside of their working hours, their own time, their own private time, to highlight issues with the Tech management, the commission, and of course the line minister and the government. And those issues does not only center around negotiations and benefits for the workers, but that they are concerned about the corruption, the level of massive corruption that occurs on a daily basis in the Trinidad and Tobago Electricity Commission. Sanctioned corruption by the government in charge. And so I want to move on and also recognize the port workers for their struggle, engaging in struggle. Let me also recognize the comrades from the Trinidad and Tobago Postal Workers Union who are also on the front line engaging in struggle. And as I say that, I want to this morning, in their absence, recognize all of the communities throughout Trinidad and Tobago who have been disenfranchised and disadvantaged as a result of lack of resources by this wicked government. We also want to recognize them here this morning. Before we go any further, we are joined this comrades. We have asked you, our trade union colleagues and comrades and members, to have representatives here this morning to present to the country in a way perhaps we were not doing it for the past 3 weeks, but in a collective manner. But we had also extended that invitation to all concerned law-abiding citizens, all of who have a profound love and unwavering commitment for the development of this Republic of Trinidad and Tobago. We invited them here to stand with us this morning. And I am happy to see and to announce that responding to that call here this morning, standing on the side of justice, standing with us, the workers and the trade unions this morning, I'm happy to recognize the following persons, the following individuals. Join me in recognizing the leader of the movement for social justice, Comrade David Abdullah, standing here with us. Let us also recognize Radhika Golbans of the MSJ. Standing here with us this morning, identifying with the issues that affect not just you, the workers, but the country. We also want to recognize a comrade, Comrade Wade Mark from the United National Congress. Also standing with us here this morning, coming out and identifying with the issues, is none other than Gary Griffith. Standing with us here again this morning, worthy of mention, is the comrade Farid Abu Bakr of the NDA standing here with us. We also have Gary Aboud from the Fishermen and Friends of the Sea with us here this morning. A brother who would have, throughout the entire week, would have been promoting this event, calling attention to the issues, standing tall and identifying himself with the issues that affect workers and Trinidad and Tobago, Dinesh Rambali of the United National Congress. Let us also recognize Umar Abdullah of the New Wave movement here with us this morning. A sister who would have been in her own space and wherever the opportunity presents itself, identifying the issues and putting forward, along with us, putting forward solutions to the problems, but is prepared to stand tall for Trinidad and Tobago. Sister Karen Nunez Tishera, let's recognize her. Let us also recognize Timothy Hamil Smith here with us this morning, identifying with the issues, also identifying with the issues and standing for Trinidad and Tobago. Patrick Watson here with us this morning. Yes, let's recognize a brother who has been using his own resources and promoting on a daily basis through the medium of the media, his own radio station, Brother Robert Amar with us here this morning. We also want to recognize Brother Imtiaz Mohammed from the Concerned Citizens Alliance here with us this morning. And let's keep the recognition going, as we also recognize here with us this morning a brother from the United National Congress, Mr. David Lee here with us. And of course, I saved this one for last because from labor and continues to identify with labor in the parliament, raising issues on behalf of workers and working people. A brother and a comrade, brother and comrade, Rudy Indowsing from the United National Congress. All of those citizens, all of you, we welcome you here this morning. You could have been somewhere else. All of you here this morning could have been anywhere else in the height of the Christmas season, finding priorities with your families. And indeed, all of those things are important. But you took the decision, the conscious decision, to put country first before all else. And to take your presence here this morning and to identify and to stand up and say with us in the trade union movement that all is not right in Trinidad and Tobago. Indeed, we are on the brink of collapse. And if Trinidad and Tobago is to be saved, it takes the majority, all of the people of Trinidad and Tobago to save it. It matters not to us this morning, who are not here, but it matters to us all who are here with us this morning. So thank you very much, brothers and sisters and comrades who are prepared to stand with us. I want to say this morning that this is the first leg of this journey. This is the first collective leg of this journey. You will hear them sending all their minions, all their sycophants, all their paid assassins, controlling the media and the national network to change the minds, to distort the message, and to disrupt our mission. Our mission is sacred. Our mission is rooted in the cry for justice, for not just for the workers, but for all of the people of Trinidad and Tobago. We in the trade union movement, when we stand up and take a stand, it's often not carried or mentioned properly, but we stand in defense of those who are in our membership. Of course, we have that responsibility to represent them. But our responsibility, we see it, goes far beyond the boundaries of our members. Our responsibility takes us to the man in the street, the sick and the infirm, those who are seriously disadvantaged and disenfranchised, all of those who come from communities, which communities are starved for resources, those children in the school, the unborn, the future of the country. That has always been the mission of the trade union movement. And as we see it, comrades, as we see it, brothers and sisters, it will always be our mission. And in this point in time, at this point in time, we are prepared to discharge our profound responsibility for and on behalf of all. Trinidad and Tobago is in deep crisis. Our nation is in crisis. In case we did not notice, we are on the brink of collapse. And so, we have to remind them. We often forget, and we forget at our own peril, that these people who are coming back to ask you for a renewal of their contract, these people who are coming back to ask you for another job, we have to remind them. We have to remind them constantly that it was a job that they were given. The government, those people in cabinet, they were given a job by the people of the country to ensure that the people of the country, every citizen, is safe and secure, to ensure that the standard of living of each citizen is maintained, to ensure dignity and respect is brought to every family and every community in this country, to ensure that the resources of this country is not corruptly whisked away and hidden away, but that it is for and the benefit and to be distributed for the people of Trinidad and Tobago. And so they have been given the responsibility to manage our country's economy. They have been given the responsibility for crime, to ensure that crime, the levels of crime and criminal activity that pervades our country, that it is eradicated altogether, to ensure that poverty is eradicated. All of those things and more are fitted in, identified in the job description of those people who come to you and ask you for a job. And so while they want us to work and ensure that we perform, and we are performing, we perform as workers, we perform. Without us, there's no country. We do our duty. And while they want us to subject ourselves to performance appraisal, job evaluation, to ensure that you get maximum productivity, all the things that I have described, not one of those things they would have succeeded with. So they failed to protect us with crime. They failed to protect us with it, to protect the economy. They failed to eradicate poverty. They failed to be fair to the people. They have fallen down on the job. And having fallen down on the job, they are now coming to you. First of all, before they come back to you to ask you for another job, having failed for some 9 going in 10 years, they come in to you to ask you for an increase in pay. I took my time to illustrate that is a job. And what do you do to a person who you have hired and consistently that person is not performing on the job? That person continues to fail. What do you do to such a person? And before you fire them, because what? It is you that hire them. And it is your responsibility, if they're not doing the job, for you to fire them. But before you fire them, here's what they want. They know you're going to fire them, you know. They know they're goose cook, and they know you're going to fire them. But what do you think they want to do? Before they go, they want to feather the nest in the post-fired life. So they want to make sure that they fill their pockets, or every single orifice they can find in their bodies, or every single pouch or purse or so, or sack. They want to fill it with money to feather their nest when they depart government. And so, we the people, we the workers who do what? Who work and pay taxes in this country. But more importantly, more precisely, we the workers who pay them. We are saying, as we fire them, nothing for you, because you did not perform. Nothing for you. They want to make sure that the pension good, and so on. And so for their part, Trinidad and Tobago could burn once their pocket filled. And let me say something to the sycophants. I mean, I must address the sycophants. And you know, comrades, they are not now sycophants, you know. In the face of all that is happening, seeing and witnessing, experiencing the trauma that this country is going through, you still have people who are prepared for the sake of a little crumbs, because they are not benefiting anything. It is the 1% who walked away with the majority of the pie. But those little people who have not, through history, have never gotten anything, and from now into perpetuity will never get anything, they are the ones that are asked to peddle the lies. They are the ones to perpetuate fooling of the people. And so I identify them not as sycophants again, you know. They are chronicophants, because that illness has gone chronic now. Because how could you defend the defenseless that is taking place in this country? But we are here this morning on a mission, a very focused mission, a mission to communicate to the dictator, a mission to communicate to Mugabe, a mission to communicate to Keith, Christopher Columbus, Rowley, that we are not prepared. We are not prepared if your people and your party and your sycophants are prepared to accept the nonsense, the bad governance, the corruption, the mismanagement, and the arrogance, we the people, we the trade union movement, we are not prepared to accept that one moment longer. And so this morning, I want to stand with us and give us your attention as we would allow the various trade unions leaders to come to the microphone and for a limited time present their issues so that the country would have the benefit of knowing what we are struggling for. And when that is done, we would come back and take a decision, because we have one task to perform before we leave here this morning. Let me go to the microphone. None other than the General Secretary and the General Secretary of NATUC, National Trade Union Center, and the President General of the Seamen and Waterfront Workers Union, join me in bringing to the microphone Comrade Michael Aniston. Let's welcome the brother.
Tyranny.
Comrades, brothers and sisters, again, comrades, brothers and sisters, members of the trade union movement, and may I also add my voice in extending our appreciation for those politicians and political leaders who saw it fit to identify with the struggle of the labor movement, the middle class, the working class, the poor, the disadvantaged, the voiceless, and the community, and the youths, the single parents. I think it is important that we as workers pay attention to that. There's a saying that who are not with us, they are against us. And let us look and see who are here with us today, lending their support and their commitment by taking the time to come to this rally that has been called by the labor movement, JTOM and NATUC, in the defense of workers, the middle class, but more importantly, in the defense of Trinidad and Tobago and our children. I want to call my last daughter, come. To the phone, to this. This is what we are fighting for. This is what we will die for. And this is what we have to stand up for as a labor movement and as political parties who are interested in the progress and the value of Trinidad and Tobago. Because this struggle is not about wages only, but it is about the respect and the dignity for we as workers and to prepare a place for our children. So,
yeah, just one announcement. We have a medical emergency. There's a comrade who appears to be suffering from an attack of a stroke. Is there any nurses there?
Doctors. Any doctor around?
all right, Doc. If we have a doctor here or a nurse, please assist. And you remember the nurses and doctors are workers, and they were there in COVID-19, not the politicians. It was they who was rolling the economy. So comrades, as I make the point, brothers and sisters, they may have us believe. And I listen, and I want to address this today to the chief personnel officer on TV, peddling a lie and misrepresentation of facts to support and justify why we must take 4% and 5%, and to justify the acceptance of the Salary Review Commission report that was just a recommendation. And a recommendation is what it is. The acceptance is for cabinet, which we believe is self-serving and which we believe is a contradiction. And we in the labor movement have taken a particular stand that the time will come when we have to get rid of the SRC, and government ministers agreeing to agree for their own increases, while we as workers have to struggle with a corrupted, arrogant, irreversible government which says take 4%, take it or leave it. So comrades, today is not an ordinary day, and I want to thank my dock workers. I want to thank the workers at T&Tech, postal workers, who started the struggle. And you may recall, dock workers, in my conversation with you, I would have said that the government made one of the biggest mistakes in attempting to deny dock workers what is due to them. And the goal of this government, and I want to put the issue on, and I hope the politicians are listening, we signed an agreement with a past government that came to the union and asked us to implement a system which would make the port more competitive. And we sit down and we discuss that and agree with international best practices so the port can transform and transition into a port that will be able to compete. And that was signed off publicly by the minister and the permanent secretary. Up come this government, and in 2024, this government telling the union that, watch me, that agreement is not valid because the CPO didn't give instruction. What damn foolishness is that? It is damn foolishness. And Mr. CPO, and Mr. Imbert and all the other representatives who said they got an advice. When a government signs something and they sign something, how dare you come to determine that the next government had no authority to sign something when the minister signed it, and you now determine in 2024, you see that 12%, we are not going to give you, take 2%. You understand what I'm saying? Hey, comrades, I want you to understand what this thing is about and why dock workers would have taken the stand that they would have taken in the light of all the health and safety issues, in the light of the fact that they were there in COVID-19, in the light of the fact that workers paid ultimate prices while the politician and those who want to deny us our just due were in their beds, and there's no recognition. And as I continue to say, this government make a big mistake. They could go on TV, they could say Roger and Anita trying to resurrect their images. That is not important. But the truth always finds itself, and you can't hide the truth. Darkness will never, ever cover light. And therefore, you here today, brothers, you are the light. You are the light, brothers. Don't let them fool you. It is in that context that we the people, can change what is happening in this country. And let us not get tired with the politics. Let us not get tired with who is UNC and who is NTA. Let us start to think in the context of what is best for Trinidad and Tobago.
Okay, don't disrupt it.
Yeah, and having said that, comrades, having said that, our collective wisdom, our individual wisdom, our energy and our forces, because we must remember that we are God within ourselves, manifesting ourselves in this physical world. And if you begin to understand that, you will understand the strength and the power that we have as workers. And never forget your spirituality, brothers and sisters. Never forget that you are part of the universe and the universe is part of you. And therefore, the powers that you have within you, the innate powers, now is the time for us. Now is the time for us to release it. And I will say further, comrades and brothers and sisters, lean not on your own understanding, but lean on the understanding of the Almighty, the Most High, and our ancestors as we are being trained in our culture, brothers and sisters. Have no fear for atomic energy, because none of them could stop the sky. And if the PNM government believes that they are atomic energy, we will destroy them once and for all. As a people, as a society, and as individuals, collectively, we will give them a lesson and teach them a lesson that they will never, 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 never forget in their lives. And remember, comrades, if you touch one, you touch all. Yes. If you touch the workers on the port, you touch every worker in Trinidad. If you touch the worker in TNT, you touch every worker. If you touch the worker, you touch the workers, you touch every worker. If you touch the daily rated workers, the PTS workers. If you touch the public servants, the immigration officers. If you touch the site attendants. If you touch the nurses and the doctors, the workers at WASA, you touch everybody, brothers and sisters. And that has to be our mantra as we leave here today. We must reflect. Today is not to come and clap and make noise and then go back to our cultural norm where they believe we are 9-day wonders and we will forget everything. And when they call the election, we will run like little puppies and vote for them. Them days finish. Let us make that clear, brothers and sisters. We will stand up and defend what is right. We will stand up for what we believe in. And if you are not part of us, we won't be part of you. It is simple as that, brothers. And when you have a political leader and a prime minister telling the country that he don't care whether the increase is right or wrong, I am going to accept it. That is an insult to each and every one of us. That is telling our children, that is telling the citizens that whether something is wrong, and as long as it's advantageous to you, accept it. Is that the kind of leader we want to lead our country? Let us start to get serious, brothers. There are issues that we must raise here today. There are issues that we must pay attention to. And let me raise another issue. The NIB got 9%. The board agreed with it. The management sent out a circular telling the workers at NIB when you are going to get your back pay and your new salaries. The court, the industrial court, which is a superior court of records, which is an independent body set up by the Constitution, registered that agreement in the court. And you know this man called the Minister of Finance, who can account for over $2 billion, but the government is not investigating that. You know that man went and write the board and tell the board do not pay it, and the NIB workers and their union have to be now in court for over 3 going in 4 years to defend that. And one wonders why the removal of the former president of the industrial court, if it wasn't rooted in that, because her position was, we are superior court and we cannot agree with the government. So we have to move somebody and put somebody who will agree with the government. And if we build a society like that, brothers, where a minister could do whatever he wants without consequences, or any government minister, well, then we are the sad place, you know. You know, you are the sad place, you know. Because if you don't want to stand up for what is right, brothers, what is wrong will not come to kill you, you know. It's you who have to stand up for what is right. You have to remember is that the government working for you. And you must remember also, don't let them fool you. The Prime Minister of Jamaica in 2023 got a salary increase. that would have carried him to be the highest paid prime minister in the region, and you refuse that increase. The question you must ask yourself, how the government in Jamaica and the prime minister can refuse an increase, and our prime minister is saying he don't care whether it's wrong or right, I'm gonna accept it. Ask yourself, no, but more importantly, they are telling you, you must accept the 2% or the 4% over the 4-year period. And a 6-year period, sorry. And you know what is amazing? The government will have said that the minister, and he's laughing, you know how the short man are, right? It had 4 or 5 unions done except the 4%. And we are discussing the 5% with them. That is not the issue, you know. I don't care who the hell accepted. The issue is whether it is fair to ask the people and government workers in Trinidad and Tobago to accept a 2% which represents 2% on your dollar, or 4% which represents 4 cents on your dollar. So the government is telling each and every one of us here that your value only worth 4 cents on your dollar. That is the issue, you know, brothers and sisters. And the question I want to ask is whether or not you as workers can live on 4 cents on your dollar. I asked him the question, can you live on 4 cents increase on your dollar? And then that is the issue. So when the labor movement stands up, we stand up on a principle. We have done all the critical analysis, and we could challenge him, but or the CPO. I challenge you, the CPO. Don't go on TV by yourself. I want to be there with you, and let us discuss mano a mano. I have now thrown out a challenge to the CPO. Let us go in front of the TV. Let us go in front of the people of Trinidad and Tobago, and let us discuss the 4%, and we will demonstrate to you, right, how it is wrong, it is insane, it is insensitive, and it has no place in reality. So comrades, we have several speakers to come here. There are so many things that I can talk about, because I will have worked out the exercise in terms of if you're getting some $1,000, what that means. You understand? And you must remember, comrades, as the brothers say, I will end by saying this, brothers, that is we who turn the economy. Let me repeat it. It is you, the workers, who are the economy. And if you do not have purchasing powers to buy goods and services, the economy falters, as we are seeing. When you don't have a social net, the price of depressing wages for workers and their families is translated into all kinds of social ills. So that when I cannot get a good job, when I go to the university and I cannot get a good job, or when I have to go away and study, or when I have to get 5 passes to go and sell chicken and chips, you are devaluing the dignity of education, and therefore, the issue of guns and ammunition and drugs pervade your society. And we can solve that. We can solve that, brothers and sisters, by respecting workers and giving them correct wages, not the partial wages. And you know what the CPO say? You know what that man say, boy? You know what I want you to listen to him to see how conniving these people are. You know what he said? Whenever we pay the 5%, the government want to pay $2 billion more. And if it was me, that man go on TV and say, I would have never offer 5%. He is an employee and he's saying that on TV. You're all right. And having said that, the government or the CPO failed to tell you that is this government who did not give the instruction to start negotiations. And therefore, we have workers in Trinidad and Tobago who works with the public sector. who haven't gotten wage increases from since 2010. That's a reality, brothers. You are asking them to live on 2010 salary. So whatever you negotiated, you must pay back pay. But that's common sense. Back pay comes about when you, the government, refuses to negotiate on a timely basis and wait for 14 years to negotiate. So what the hell you expect? Let us get real, let us get serious. That's basic economics. So don't get fooled about no back pay. And back pay have no value because the value of your $14 years ago, 10 years or 12 years ago, no back pay could make up for the loss of your purchasing power. And you must understand that. And we must start a new movement finally, where we have to demand that negotiations start on time and do like the Americans. If after 6 months of the completion of the negotiations will come into completion, there is no solution, we do like the dockers in the United States, the 50,000 dock workers who would have forced the shipping people to come to the table, and they got 25% over a 5-year period. But more importantly, the AI mechanisms and processes that they wanted to implement, the shipping line would have pulled back, because that would have had an effect of sending thousands of dock workers home in the East Coast. And that is where power lies, brothers, collectively. That is where power lies. So our brothers, sisters, comrades all, as we sit down here today, as we give thanks and praises to the Most High, as we do like how our ancestors do, we always lean on their wisdom and understanding. But this is not an ordinary fight. When you have people deliberately setting out to interfere with workers and the middle class and wives and the depressed communities, I want to end by telling you all that the voice of the people is the voice of God. And there is no power stronger than the voice of God. And believe in yourself, because you are a God in a human form on this physical world. Thank you, brothers and sisters. Stand firm, stand strong, forever, backward never, and we shall not be moved. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Michael and the set. All right, so let's move on. And as we move on, let me call to the microphone the President of the Public Service Association, President of TSC. Let's welcome Governor Governor Leroy Baptiste.
Good morning, comrades, one and all.
Good morning.
I promise to keep it short. You know that hold on to this mic, it could take some time. I promise to keep it short, comrades.
I came back.
Comrade, because you saw that, you have been here a while. But you have to ask yourself why you're here. How do you know why you're here?
Yes, comrade.
Because we come here to stand up against tyranny.
Correct.
Comrades, do you understand that? It's tyranny. Do you know who the tyrant is?
Yes, Crowley.
Say it, who the tyrant is, comrade? Do you know how that tyrant go there? Who put him there? Who put the tyrant in there?
Them other wicked people, not me.
Who do I have to speak to get a voice? Who do I have to speak to get a voice? Who do I have to speak to get a voice?
Comrades, so it's a tyrant we deal with. He was put there through politics. It was a political decision that put a tyrant there. Let me tell you something. The only practical solution to a political problem is a political solution. There's no other way. There's a man who openly said that he entitled to him he pay increase. Because he has worked hard.
And it can't flip out.
And he have results. And he money can't sleep out. But we have people on 20, 13 salaries. Comrade, I don't know what you mean by work hard. Anyone all here satisfied with the state of the economy? No! Anyone of all here satisfied with the state of crime and criminality in this country? But the man tell you, I see a comrade, they want to come and be angry, and I understand, you know, brother. We all ought to be angry at what happened here today.
Yes, I'm angry.
We're fed up. We're fed up.
Comrade, I hear you. Trust me, I hear you. Because I'll tell you what, we just call this a labor movement, but sometimes I just want to call it a slave movement. You know why?
Correct.
You know why? Because I come here this morning and people say, boy, hey, Olia, we coming here. What I could do? The man's still there. I just understand that my people fed up of us coming and talking and talking and talking and talking and talking. So I hope all those who say that everybody talk, you better be ready to vote. Because that is the only solution to a political problem. Comrades, it's only months away. Get ready, get ready, get ready, get ready, get ready. Months away. Get ready, comrades, get ready, get ready, clear. This is not a time for pussy pretend. For pretending you don't know what the solution is.
United.
Are we talking our throats out day by day? And there are some clowns saying to continue talking to them?
Yes.
It's them who take people negotiation and send it to the court, not we? Correct. Them who say they want to talk to the union. Correct. Okay. Well, if you want to talk to us, we go talk to who will talk to us.
Yes! Yes!
Comrades, one and all, that man say, but he does work hard. I know what is work hard. When you pull out your driver's permit, it's a public officer that give you that. That's work hard. When you get your birth certificate, it's a public officer that give you that. That is work hard. When you go to the hospital and somebody taking care of you, it was a public officer that give you that. That is work hard. And somebody go come and tell you about you worth 0.002%. I never hear that level of insult and disrespect to workers. But hear what? At the same time, I was embarrassed as a man that called himself the CPO go on national TV and redo maths.
Wicked, man, wicked.
He have redone what we know as maths. Because in standard 2, everyone teaches you how to do percentage increase. You know how to do a percentage increase, comrade? You find out, you must know the man old salary. Then you must know the man new salary. Then you subtract the old from the new salary. Then the difference, you put it over the old salary and you multiply by 100. Otherwise, that is standard 2. That works out to 47.2% increase for the Prime Minister. And I'm going to tell you what's worse. He tried to play some kind of thing about he was getting a duty allowance. I know he ain't getting a duty allowance. Comrade, you must ask him where his pension go be when he leave here. His salary was 59,680. The new salary is 87,847. His pension was 59,688. His new pension is 89,847. And comrade, that ain't bad. They find that enough. Every 5 years, whatever the incumbent salary will be, is what his pension will be. Comrade, so you have a situation where in 5 years, if this man they pay $120,000 for the new prime minister, guess what the pension of Rowley would be? 120,000. Comrade, we all here have common sense. This is not no hard maths. This is not no issue where you're trying to figure out what side to be on. We all understand that we can never support someone who put a burden on you that they're unwilling to carry themselves. They call such a person a hypocrite. And we must reject hypocrites. I have no problem with it. If you want, you can want all that you want for yourself. But my God, those who put you in charge of their well-being, of their family and their family's family, you have to take care of them too. And if you don't want it for them, you can't want it for you. So comrades, why are we here today? We're here today to stand in solidarity that the Pharaoh must go. The must go. The time has come to stop. Go and talk to your family. Talk to your children who is 18 and above. Go in your neighborhood and explain to them there is no room for hypocrites. A leader could never have any moral right to fix himself and his family and then try to impose the greatest disrespect. And let me just say this. Let me say this. People are saying it's 2%. For 3 years, it's not even 2%. It's less than 2% because they refuse to consolidate your cost of living. So you have to give up back pay to get a kakada. But he can laugh in 3 years' time over $1 million a back pay. Comrade, why are you here? You're here to stand in defense of your family, yourself, your children, and your grandchildren. If any one of you look and you don't have no savings in the bank, it means you're living from paycheck to paycheck. That must come to an end. We must come and stand in one accord, comrades. Let's make this happen. There are those who will distract us with foolishness. This is very simple. We have to. We have no choice but to bring an end to the tyranny in this land. That is what we all are faced with. If, as labor, we didn't have laws that could be weaponized against us, you think somebody could stand up to labor?
Not at all.
You think even for but a day, the public service stopped working? But a day, TNTech stopped working? But a day, WASA stopped working? But a day, Hezbollah stopped working? You think we're going to be here having to labor and talk and talk and talk and talk and talk? We didn't like to talk, comrades. But the law has been made to create slaves out of workers. That you are threatening people to lock them up, summary, dismiss them, decertify the union. If I as labor withhold my labor, that's what they're doing. Comrade, we had to get them laws changed. To get them laws changed, we had to get rid of the So comrade, I think my time is up. Here's what I want you to do. Really, this is serious. This is not a joking time. This labor movement that is now no more than a slave movement, because we engaging in collective begging rather than collective bargaining. People could tell us take it or leave it, and they have no consequences that they face. That must come to an end. Understand this issue. Talk to your girls, your loved ones. Who find the sun was hot today? People call me and tell me, well, God, it's Saturday. You have things to do, why only coming on a weekday? You see all that? Set that aside. You have to become organized. And when the leaders ask of you to come, you come. When the leaders tell you to vote, you vote. And I'll leave that for another day, but we're going to tell you who to vote for. So, you're getting part one. Part one is, let me tell you, I tell you who to vote for. But let me tell you who not to vote for. God! Any man here, after we talk all this, could even entertain in their mind to put that tyrant back in office? Go and shoot yourself. Because that is being suicidal. And you are destroying not only your life, you're destroying your family, your children, and your children's children. So come on! Who not to vote for? 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 Thank you, comrades.
Merci pour comprendre les remontées.
Good morning! I would not be long, but I'm asking questions. All you feeling safe? No! All your money have value? No! Over the last 9 years, what has been our experience? This is not, when you watch amongst us here, we have citizens. I'm not seeing PSA, I'm not seeing POA, I'm not seeing all of the other. I am seeing citizens of Trinidad and Tobago. And the one thing we must understand, you hear them talking about the 2%. I'm going to give all a story. When that offer came and it shifted, because you remember it was 001. Let me go back. The PNM was having a meeting in Arima, and I'm watching it on Facebook. And you know you could post comments. All I posted, 002, 002, because we used to call it the binary offer, if you know about them things. Zeros and one. You know they block me? It may seem insignificant, but it speaks to them wanting to what? To mute the citizenry. That you must accept whatever they give you. They use the industrial court against our union, our association. I sat in that joke, that ridiculous conglomeration, and listened to foolishness with the chairman telling us we have to take this, and if he has the rule, it is going to bind us, not for 6 years, you know, for 10 years. For 10 years. And here what we facing. Not prison officers facing it, no. Who faces it? Citizens facing it. In 2013, what was the value of your $100? What is the value of that $100 today? And you know what has us, you know what has me mad? You will have me mad. After being bullied by the Special Tribunal of the Industrial Court, being a small association, understanding that prison officers can't walk off the job, we cannot withhold labor to force the hand of the government. You know what they do? They abuse that. So instead of looking out for us, they sharpen us.
Yes.
They sharpen us. But guess who they sharpen? All of us. Because it has people who sign, they're not implementing. It has people who are not getting the opportunity to negotiate. And every single day, all of us who didn't go market this morning to face whatever new prices, all of us who took the time to come here today, you know who don't go market? Who don't go market? Who don't go in the supermarket? Prison officers, this year we lost 22 active officers. In all was 48 if we count those people who recently retired. Prison officers work in some of the harshest conditions. And we are expected to perform. We are waiting on a job evaluation exercise. You know what they said? When the first thing came up, the Minister of Finance said, there's too much money to do a job evaluation exercise. But hear what we have to hear today. A report making recommendation. You sitting down there as the head of this nation, 47.5%, and you're comfortable? You're comfortable? So while all of us here, and I just listen to them, you know, hear the foolishness, watch how much of them go on party, watch the avenue, all that sort of foolishness. When every day we have single mothers, we have single fathers, we have families who are struggling to make ends meet. What has this government done to impact your life positively? I wouldn't be long, but let me tell you all this. There are times in history when we have to forget party and who is PNM till they're dead and who love UNC and NTA and things. We have to come together and ensure that the tyranny does not continue and that whoever else, and this is a warning, this is a warning to UNC and NTA and everybody, we are not going back to these days of abuse by any government whom we put there to look after our business. Have a blessed day.
Thank you very much. All right, so let's move on. As we move on, let me invite Comrade, the General Secretary of the Contractor and General Workers Union, or the Deputy President General of the Contractor and General Workers Union. Let us bring on the brother,
Pleasant good morning, as I bring greetings and solidarity on behalf of Contractors and General Workers Union. But comrades, remember Black Stalin said, Black man got to keep on jamming. For black man to get a little something. That is why we here, brothers and sisters. We, our contractors and general workers trade union, did not accept the 4%. When we went to our workers, we let them know exactly what the 4% represent. $47 a fortnight. $47 a fortnight. Not with the government taking 47%. It's $47. Come on, my workers at the San Fernando City Corporation. They come to me, come on, oh God, paycheck to paycheck. I just get paid 100, 200, they run back by the money lender to borrow back. Because they have to keep borrowing to survive. They run into the financial institution and they are struggling. This fight is not for only us. I'll become not rightfully Susie Rifle. He have the audacity to say, if it was for he go offer 000. Him but make his work easy by saying, get them 5, so he go start it. That is this man, he's singing for his supper. So when I saw him on the TV as the comrade say, I turn on the damn TV because I know what he is doing is defending the bullshit and he and the government. Because he made his pay going up. And he's saying he only get a 5% increase. But we know better, comrade. Comrade, the struggle now start. We have to start to mobilize. We have to start to bring out our brothers, our sisters, our aunt Nenny. Because the time will come where it's going to get more and more serious. And the government afraid numbers. Bear that in mind, they afraid the numbers. When they see the numbers out here, they just know to think twice. So any school will come up, no retreat, no surrender. No retreat, no surrender. Thank you very much.
Will you excuse me, I'm not afraid to touch me here, Right. Good morning to my brothers and sisters, citizens of Trinidad and Tobago. I bring you greetings from the National Union of Government and Federated Workers. From all our sections, the Agriculture and Allied Workers section, you all here? Yes. Ministry of Works and Transport. Yeah. From the regional health authorities and from the water and storage authority. Brothers and sisters, before going to the labor issues, I hope all you're paying attention to the politics. It's the first time in the history of this country you ever see a member of parliament in a safe seat walk away from it and then I tell you a story of what's going to happen next year when the election is called. Because people begin to wake up, and if you feel that everybody's sleeping, you have a message for them. But let me talk to them in my language or the language they are accustomed to talk to me in. You're now facing an inquiry, and all the evidence against you shows that you're guilty of sin. And if you're guilty of sin, we prepare to fire you if you don't listen and change your ways. And we have to resoundingly tell them that, because we as citizens, we just forget that it's not them as we boss, it's we hire them and we go fire them. And I bring special greetings to the new Minister of Everything. You know who that is? All of a sudden, the CPO gets a voice, and he could appear in the media. He's Minister of Finance, he's the Minister of Communication, and he's the Minister of Public Administration. And if you give him a chance, he could be Prime Minister too. All of a sudden, he gets a voice, he could come and talk. But I don't want to insult Gary so much like that. Because right now when he's batting, he rate is about 5. And it's going down. We, the workers of Trinidad and Tobago, we who put, and the message to the businessmen too, we the people who spend money in this country, especially this Christmas season, if all you don't get on board with we, all your pocket going to pay in the coming years, and we must resoundingly let them know that too. So if you feel that the oil money going down, and you're afraid of that, know that because you're not on we side, we are going to be against you too.
And if we have to buy, the only thing buying these days is rice, sugar, and flour. And only go catch all your tail to sell the rest of the thing on them. We workers saying that. We must understand and appreciate that the cut and pay that we got, not only in 1986, but we also experiencing a cut and pay from 2013 to 2024. And that cut and pay, we must get it back ourselves. But if people feel they could sit down in the ivory tower and ignore you, we're going to make sure you pay attention. Because we're not going to sit down like we did in 1986. And it ain't going to be just 33-3 or let go taste the fire this time. It might end up being 41-0. We must appreciate the fact that there's nobody else. And if not for our brothers and sisters who came out from the trade union movement in the parliament, who still hold their consciousness and embracing their breast, then there is nobody else who truly speak on behalf of Labour, but Labour itself. Yes. Yes. And if Labour wants to make sure and be successful in your effort to be successful in getting a fair wage and a fair pay, then Labour must take the fight to them and not wait for them to bring it to us. For all my colleagues, comrades who here alone, I give you greetings. But you see the ones who stay away because they don't want the member of parliament to see them on TV, and the ones who stay away because they don't want the pastor who supports the party, or the ones who stay away because they're in a party group and they feel the party group gave them an extra 10 days. Know that if they're talking about the economy bad now, next year when they win election, the next thing they will be doing is taking away all their CPEP and all their European contracts. So if you don't know, to get on board where the water is strong and the breeze is blowing to out that fire, well, Papa, you pay your pipe when the time comes, because we ain't going to be there to help you out when the time comes. I will be the first one to tell you, we tell you so. So don't hide, because this is not about hiding now. The evaluation is on, and I am sounding the warning. You are now up before a tribunal of your employers given. And if you don't catch up, brothers and sisters who not listening, or they will pay the pipe when the day comes for me to use this finger or this finger. When we dip it in the red, we'll be firing you with all. And you know what's the hard thing about it? We ain't going to be using no phone call as they do in other spaces, because that's one of the things they're coming up for charges for. No phone call to fire you. We ain't sending no text message. We send it to you resoundingly with the fingers that we have on the hand and put you out of office. And then you will know that you're not in charge of you. To my brothers and sisters in the NUGFW, who here, I salute you. To my brothers and sisters who are not here, it's either you make up your mind to come and stand with your union, or you go and you die the cause and you will have no voice after this day. Because the fight now starts. If the CPO listens, let him know. I wonder if I should call him CPO, no new minister, everything. And if he listens, the sweet talk, no, we ain't chopping. The sweet talk ain't gonna work. Because sweet talk ain't gonna pay my bills, and it ain't gonna pay all the bills when you increase electricity rates. It ain't going to change the increased water rates. It ain't going to change the property tax that you're imposing on me, that your friends enjoy in a free time without paying anything, because they have big business. They're making all the profit, taking their money and carrying it out of Trinidad and Tobago in Miami, and how we suffering for forex here in this country. And you embracing them, and you want to play avoiding me and punishing me. No way for that. And by the saying no way for that, I'm saying no vote for that either. As I stand here now with you, I stand here as a citizen who does vote. I ain't just this party or the other party. The only party I have right now that's functioning for me is that party called the Trade Union Movement and the Voice of God movement. And that is what he stands for. So brothers and sisters, embrace the moment today and forward ever, backward never. We move to victory in the coming future.
And so thank you very much. All right, as we move on, you know, here it comes talking about this, that we are not prepared to meet with him unless they are prepared to respect workers and to come with a decent offer on the table. In the Caribbean Airlines Limited, CAL, let us welcome Rudy Atwell. Let's welcome the comrade.
Good day, comrades. Good day. Thank you for coming out and supporting us. My name is Rudy Atwell. I'm the Secretary General of the Aviation, Communication and Allied Workers Union. We represent the hard-working mechanics, the hard-working flight attendants, and the hard-working reservations agents at Caribbean Airlines. We are one of 5 recognized majority unions. And since 2006, our collective bargaining agreement has been denied to us by this administration, which is unfair. The court has ruled that Caribbean Airlines must meet and treat with the recognized majority unions. Our cost of living allowance has not been paid to the workers since 2006. That's 18 years of suffering, and we cannot stand for this. I'm going to take it back to what the Prime Minister said. He will bear the cross without fear of retribution. He is calling Jesus into this. Jesus will never do what he does. Jesus will sit amongst his disciples and break that bread evenly, and he will even eat last. Our Prime Minister is cutting 47% of that bread and taking $1 million as back pay and $87,000 a month. That is the wrong God he may be serving. Ladies and gentlemen, we must come together, push forward on election day and vote. When the Prime Minister sits down in his quiet corner and counts his back pay dollar by dollar, I swear to you and I promise to you, that will be a vote you will lose for each dollar that you count. Thank you.
Thank you very much, comrade. All right, so let's move on. We call to the microphone Comrade Sean Roberts, the President of Transport and Industrial Workers Union. Let's welcome the comrade. Let's welcome him.
Morning, comrades, brothers and sisters, to the public. It is clear that this government is lovers of themselves. It is also clear that this leader who is running this country, he is the Antichrist. Comrades, this government has to go. And any government coming after will go to implement 2 little plus to do. We fed up for them. We fed up for all of them. But at the end of the day, the enemy of my enemy is my friend. Comrades, if you read in the history of Trinidad and Tobago, sufferation, crime, paycheck to paycheck, people owing, and suffering, comrades. Imagine NMTS workers still working on 2013 salary. Comrades, MTS workers just maintain all the government buildings, the police station, the stadium, the multi-purpose complex. Comrades, these workers are very dedicated, hard-working comrades, and yet still the money small. Comrades, the Ministry of Education right about now is owing MTS 400 million. Also, the judiciary is owing MTS 100 million. Where that money is, the MTS can get that money so that workers can get the increase and a better living wage. Comrades, this government has to go. Comrades, imagine in public transport service corporation, these managers and them only threatening the drivers and telling them it has no boss, it has no workers than boss. But you know what? The government is not buying buses for the corporation. So when you line up in the line for hours and you want to blame the workers and not the workers, it's because they hardly have buses. Come on, too much money missing this country and cannot be accounted for. And you see, if we get serious, comrades, why we must wait until we back against the wall? No, comrades. Comrades, I want to thank the Almighty for the trade union movement. Because trade union movement is the only thing stopping the working class to become slaves. We don't want them back in this country. And we, the trade union movement, we, the workers, we, the citizens, say no! No to slavery! No to this government! Enough is enough, comrades. And let us not just come out here today and then we die down. It's not dying down. It's forward ever! Backward never! Thank you, comrades. Pleasant good afternoon, everybody. I started by saying, Rowley must, Rowley must, Rowley must. Right. Well, I represent Swim Call. We manage waste in Trinidad and Tobago. Right? What I want to say, since 2013, we have not get no kind of negotiation, nothing. We never even get our funny table for 4%. We ain't get no offer. Some people get 2% by 2%. We never get anything. We ain't get nothing. 95% of the offer this time here. You understand me? What I'm saying, this government is a dictator. Rowley is a wicked man. He is a wicked man. He don't like nobody. I was speaking to somebody this morning who live in close to Rowley, and he told Mr. Rowley, good morning. And all these girls like a washer. Will you talk to me? You understand me? That is the kind of person, that is the kind of government and the kind of person that we under. No, that can't happen. That could never be. Comrades, brothers and sisters, citizens of Trinidad and Tobago, when it's time to vote, we will take our advice from the joint trade union movement. And we, the working class, will put our finger where the president and the head of the trade union say to put it. Because we're not selling ourselves cheap. We're not selling ourselves cheap as workers in this country. We are giving it away just like that. We had to give back something for something. And we want the something we want is something good. We don't want nothing bad. So brothers and sisters, I said black people shall never know themselves until their back is against a wall. And right now we're getting squeezed. We're getting squeezed against the wall. We're back in just against the wall. We're getting squeezed. And all they ain't seeing that, all who stay home and on TV right now, all who stay home, all they see we getting squeezed, we back them against the wall again, we going into the wall. All you come out, this is something
But we start here and we're not finishing it until the end. Comrades, I want to wish you, everyone who come out here today, I want to wish you the best, because all who come out here today is patriots of Trinidad and Tobago. All who come out here today is a patriot of Trinidad and Tobago. And you're making an example for your children, your grandchildren, and you're making a way for them also. Right? So, comrades, one love. Raulimas! 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 Thank you very much.
Thank you, Comrade Warner. Comrades, I want you to steady course. We want you to steady course. We there, Greg, let's welcome the sister.
Good afternoon, comrades. I'm not hearing you all. Good afternoon, comrades. I am here representing today Banking, Insurance and General Workers Union. Right now we are here standing in solidarity with all unions present, all those who have represented so far and all those that are to come. Right now the struggles that our union has today in terms of our banking workers, Republic Bank, FCB. We also have struggles in terms of Kariri, the multi-paid workers of Swimcall, Cipriani Labour College. Yeah, that name that I've called, Cipriani Labour College. All of these struggles that we have, Export Center. Right now what I'm just trying to tell people is not to be fooled by the crumbs that will be issued to you all leading up to elections. Because at the end of the day, it can't be right that you are telling workers to tighten your belts, accept 2%, and then you are receiving 47%. That is not right. That is disrespectful. That is insulting to workers. Because at the end of the day, what is good for the goose is good for the gander. Thank you for whatever. For whatever.
Thank you very much, Sister Melissa. And as we move on, let me call to the microphone another sister, second Vice President of the Trinidad and Tobago Unified Teachers Association.
Comrades, respect to everyone, all our leaders who are present here today. Comrades, when you drive to the gas station, who put in your fuel in your vehicle? I put in. When you have to go to the cable company to pay for your flow bill, who paying that? I pay it. Who paying your electricity bill? I pay it. So when you're here, people and your groceries, who buying your groceries for you? So when you hear people get a 47%, 48% plus, they get that alone. But what about the man who eating ham, lamb and jam and enjoying all the taxpayer support? He getting more than what he deserves. He getting much more. But here what happened? I hear a man jump up on television about 2 weeks ago and he care about the taxpayers' money being spent. This doing, right? He said now he has to be careful about spending the taxpayers' money. But who he care about where he spent? We in the agriculture sector has been having dog food on the market for a number of years and getting people sick and feeding the school feeding program for what? Having children not being able to eat comfortable and a good healthy meal? When are we going to take our decisions and stand by it? Because we have been talking about these things for the longest while, but here what happening? The one set of people who have to test these products coming into this country to know it's safe since 2014. The Chemistry, Food and Drugs Lab has been shut down. But you have money to pay people billions of dollars for not operating a warehouse or an office or whatever it is. But we don't have money to build a lab for the people to test the food that's coming into this country. What in this country working, comrades? What it is these wicked people doing to you all? What it is that this wicked man is doing to your families by feeding unhealthy food to them? right? Look at it, for instance. You have meat coming into this country that has been stamped dog food, pet food, and coming and banned. We in the US, I did my research so I could stand up here and say I talking the damn truth. Only can't say that. The cheapest lamb in the US is $6 a pound. For convenience, 6 7s are 42. But we could sell the meat coming from the US for $18 TT in this country. How could that be that maths? How that maths in? Right? We all have to understand something here. This is not about the unions alone. This is about the citizens and taking care of your family. Because your family is what will keep the country going. How long, comrades? We are doing nonsense from 2015 to 2020. Because corruption didn't start in 2010, nor finish in 2015. And you get a chance in 2020. My God, oh gosh, why we have to take people like that for? Why you have to take people for fools like that? Damn food day is only on Good Friday. Good Friday, April is full. But you take people damn food for the whole damn year. Right? Comrades, brothers and sisters, hear what happening. We need to understand something. If we don't stand up for something that is right now, we will not be able to stand up for anything down the road. And we got to make a decision to deal with this now. And hear what happened. I want to ask each and every one of you here, the next call that is being made, and don't only come on yourself. Don't come with one person in your car, or they bring people out. Bring people out. I think Comrade Rose, we have to get a prize for all who bring out the most band to come out here. Because you know why? This thing is getting serious. And it's going to get more serious if we don't stand up now, because he go feeling that runaway horse. Comrades, you know what runaway horses do, right? So we cannot allow this thing to go on. So comrades, brothers and sisters, let us make a stand to do the right thing, and the right thing this time. Thank you all very much, comrades. Long live the trade union movement and all the comrades.
Secretary of the Trinidad and Tobago Postal Workers Union.
Trinidad and Tobago, good afternoon. From the chairman and all the leaders of the Joint Trade Union Movement and the National Trade Union Center, to the members of the media, the hard-working media, and of course, all politicians who see the need to be out here today. We hope that you understand the issue that is at hand. And as one of my comrades said earlier on, that when you get into office, do not forget the ground that you stood on here today. Do not forget it. You see, history has shown itself that in the labor movement, that when workers take a particular stand in removing a particular government, whichever government it may be, that at the end of that struggle, they forget about the workers. The time has come for that type of behavior to stop. And it is in that regard, I am certain that the postal workers who was offered 002 and 200 will not stand for that. We want to make an appeal to all those public sector workers, whether you would have been in the prison service, the fire service, the police service, the city corporations. When they gave you that 4%, I mean, Dr. Wally talking about politics, it was a political move to go and do what they're doing now. But we want to say today to all and each member of the protective services and to all of you who are in the corporations, to tell the government that that 4% that they gave you, it will work against them. You will vote against them next year in the general election. That is the call we're making. That every one of you who would have gotten that 4%, you are going to reject it in the polls. Show them how bad you are. Because they feel they're bad. The CPO said to us a few weeks ago, the postal workers at his office, that he expects us back outside this office. That is the kind of tyrant we deal with in this country. And the Prime Minister and Mr. Imbert would have sat down in a press conference and say he accepted it. Let me tell you all something. The workers in 2011 in the postal sector would have done a job evaluation. There was a final report, and that method was used as the same here guide method. We are saying that we accepted it in 2011, and therefore we are saying that if you can accept it, you have to give it to us too. We demand, Dr. Rowley, we demand over 18.6% increase. We demand it here today. And I want to say to Trinidad and Tobago that this fight that we are dealing with here is not no easy fight. But we have to show them that at the end of the fight, the people of Trinidad and Tobago will have the last say. We will have the last say. We will have the last say. And it is only a matter of time before Dr. Rowley and his crew come off that high tree that they are on. And I want to end by saying, to shake Rowley off that tree. Shake, 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 shake Rowley from off that tree. Shake, 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 shake Rowley from off that tree. 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 Shake, 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 shake Rowley from off that tree. Shake, 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 shake Rowley from off that tree. 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 Thank you so much.
Shake, shake. All right. I want you to remember that the time is coming. The time coming when we get a chance to shake it. To shake him off the tree and put on that tree who will seek the interests of workers and the people of this country. All right. Let me call the tea and tech workers. All the tea and tech workers. Let me call in the tea and tech workers. As we close, I want to say for yet another time that this government, headed by Keith Rowley, and let us not make any mistake, the CPO's position, the CPO's disrespectful position is Rowley position. In both position, the leprechaun position is Rowley position. Everything that goes on in the government, Rowley sanctions it. So if you are to blame anybody, blame Rowley. If you are confronted with bad governance, with crime, criminal activity, high cost of living, food inflation, blame Rowley. And if we are to deal with the problem with Rowley, we have to get rid of Rowley and all his followers, his band and family. Make no mistake about it. This government has taken a policy position that they are going to use the law. The point was made by Leroy earlier on. They have gone to the court seeking injunctions from a court, an industrial court, that they would have configured, reconstructed in their own image and likeness. Let us remember, not too long ago, they fired the president of the industrial court only because that person, that well-qualified individual, stands up for justice, whether that justice is for employers or for workers. And therefore recognizing that all of the injustice they are meted out to workers in all of the sectors, they would have removed unceremoniously the president of the court. And they would have installed in the court, in the area of the Essential Services Division and on the benches of the industrial court, judges who are prepared to grant them those injunctions to prevent workers from standing up and protesting against the injustice at the workplace. The only place and time in my memory that they could work you hard under all kinds of inhumane conditions, pay you little or nothing, whip you to work, and so on, and subject you to the worst inhumane conditions. The only place they could have done that and get away with it is in time back on the plantation in slavery. That's the only thing, only place they could have get away with that. So what we are experiencing now is tantamount to modern day slavery. And so the tea and tech workers, like the teachers, only remember that they went to the court and they took out an injunction against the teachers, against tutor, because they were standing up for the rights of their members. They went to the court recently and took out an injunction against what? Against the port workers, because the port workers were standing up what? For their rights. They went to the court and took out an injunction against what? Against the pilots, because the pilots were standing up for their rights and demand justice insofar as their wage increase and wage and salary increases. And the next one, they went to the court about 6 weeks ago. They went to the court one Sunday morning when people are home cooking the little callaloo, preparing for their Sunday lunch and preparing to go to work Monday morning. They went to the court to take out an injunction against the tea and tech workers. The tea and tech workers who are responsible for power in Trinidad and Tobago. If anybody make profit for the Christmas season or for the carnival season that's coming up, it is on the basis of the electricity that those workers provide for us. So those workers, because they work in what is considered to be what the law defines as an essential services division, they use the court, reconstruct the court, put their people in place to take out injunctions. But it didn't get through that, with the tea and tech workers, because we were ready when we get there to put in an appearance and to contest that. And so that matter is to be heard on the 16th of December, where we are contesting their request for an injunction against the tea and tech workers. So our lawyers are on standby, because you can see the trend right through. Whip the workers, bully their way at all the workplaces, put in place whether it is CPO or the type of management that would take advantage of workers. And when workers raise issues, injunction. Now, at tea and tech comrades, the workers were raising issues, not only with their denial of an offer at the table, because there's no offer at the table right now. 000. But they are also raising concerns with the corruption that exists at tea and tech, that the proliferation of contract work, that contractors are performing the work in the schedule of classification of the Workers' Collective Agreement, and that those works have to be redone by the same workers. So it is double cost to tea and tech. And all of the unsafe conditions, the trucks that you see pass on the roadway every day. When you see a yellow truck, not only yellow truck is tea and tech, look and see, look closely, and you will see some of them with what? Without the tea and tech emblem. And those are contractors. Those are the friends of the ministry. Those are the friends of the management who enjoy kickback. And when they do those things, when they allow those things to happen, what? The provision of the commodity of electricity becomes more expensive for you, the public. The Minister of Public Utility tells the country that, tea and tech owes NGC some $4 billion. And that what? You, the public, have to pay for that. Well, wrapped up in that $4 billion is the issue of massive corruption, feathering their nests, paying their friends, getting retirees back out to work at the expense of workers who they have remaining idle in all of the yards. When they give an instruction in the morning, because we raised this issue, what about having the tea and tech workers perform tea and tech work? They send all those trucks out. Do you know when those trucks are out? by 7:30 in the morning. No instructions are given to the crew, but instructions instead is given to the contractors. Material instead is given to the contractors. Big pay and kickbacks. And so that is what they don't want the public to know. And that is why they are taking out injunctions against the TNTech workers. I want to say this afternoon. I want to salute the TNTech comrades, the TNTech workers. Because you know what? Because of the injunction, and because they claim that those workers are involved in industrial action, those workers are prepared to take time away from their work time, their own private time, to highlight the issues of corruption and to call and demand for a proper and a just wage increase. Finally, on the TNTech workers, I wanted to say to you here this afternoon that when the matter of the collective agreement for the period 15 to 17 went before that crazy fella, that fella who it seems has some kind of death wish, that fella called Chicky Chong, yeah? That fella who takes instruction from the midget, from the leprechaun, when their matter went before the court, the commission, TNTech's management, did not have sufficient argument to support their claim of paying zero, of not paying the workers, or not giving them an increase. They came to the union in the bilateral sessions and at the court saying that they cannot afford to pay an increase. The union made out its case, its formidable case, its argument that they can well afford to give the workers a decent increase. What did the judge do? What did they do in the court? They left the benches of the court. They went outside of the court and get evidence, not the management now, get evidence to support the management. Well, it's like you're in the ring. And instead of the one we are fighting, it is the referee hitting you too. So when you go to the court for justice, instead of the court and the judge listen carefully and adjudicate fairly, he goes out and find evidence to support the management's claim and come back and award the worker 000. Well, like the public associates, like the PSA, and like all the unions who did not accept the 4%, at that time and continuing, this union, the Office Workers Trade Union, say that we have not accepted that and we have a final appeal against that. And let me warn them from now. Let me warn them from now. 4 is an obscene number. 2 plus 2 make 4. That's correct. But 4 offered to worker is an obscene number. And we are going to reject that outright together with all the unions that have rejected it. We say to them, if you want to make the 4 attractive for the trade unions, just as the SRC would have done, put a 7, yeah, after the 4, and a 0.5, don't forget the 0.5, and a 0.5, and also we all of us 47.5 increase, yeah, 47.5, because you know what, all of us deserve much more, even more than what Rowley and they get paid. Rowley and they don't work. They don't work. If anything at all, they work to ensure that you who work don't get paid. They don't work. And so if for 1 month, the government does not work or continue to not work, the country will run. The country will run smoothly. So if for not 1 month or even 1 day, workers throughout this country don't work, this country will come to a screeching halt. So that is why we have penned a letter. That we're going to deliver today. Now we don't expect them, and I don't want Congress to have any high expectation, because they're arrogant. But history must record us as doing what we're supposed to do in the time and moment when it was required. We must not look back and say we should have, or we could have, or if we did, it must record us as having done our duty. And therefore today we want to put on record. We want to put on record and to deliver to the tyrant the demands of the workers. Since they recognize that it has money to pay them, it has to have money to pay all the workers. Right. Today is the 7th, December 7th, 2024. The Prime Minister, Office of the Prime Minister, Whitehall, 29 Marval Road, Port-au-Spain. Dear Honorable Prime Minister, let me ask for silence, complete silence as we read the contents of this letter. Dear Honorable Prime Minister, we, the trade union movement, on behalf of the people of Trinidad and Tobago, wish to remind you that the role of a government is to protect its citizens, create the conditions for economic growth, material prosperity, distribute and redistribute the resources and wealth created by the workers in ways that this wealth satisfies all its citizens and make available public goods to all citizens. While workers and ordinary citizens across the nation struggle daily under the weight of stagnant wages, bad working conditions, rising inflation, massive job losses, increased taxation, and with a high and ever-increasing cost of living, it is unconscionable that those who are tasked with the country's governance would prioritize their financial comfort over the needs of the broader populace. This move sends a clear and troubling message that the sacrifices demanded of the workers and ordinary citizens of our country, that these sacrifices do not extend to those in positions of privilege and power. We in JTM, NATUC, and the labor movement sincerely believe that leadership must be rooted in fairness and empathy, more so in times of economic challenges. It is absolutely unacceptable, undemocratic, and vexing that while so many thousands of workers and ordinary citizens continue to face extreme economic hardship on a daily basis, you and your government would have absolutely no problem whatsoever in approving significant salary increases for yourself and senior government officials who are already enjoying many superior benefits. It is with grave concern and horror we observe your acceptance of the SRC's recommendation to increase your own salary by 47.5% with over $1 million in back pay. This is in addition to the significant improvement on your pension benefits. Further, your justification for acceptance of this massive increase was based on your claim that you did hard work. Now, using your justification of you doing hard work, we in the trade union movement feel quite justified in demanding a fair and equitable increase for workers across all sectors of the economy, based on their hard work as they continue to turn the wheels of the country's economy. We also note with great consternation that the CPO, who is the Secretary to the Salary Review Commission, oversaw the increase of his own salary by 30%. Having performed this self-serving task, he is now attempting to bully the unions to accept a paltry 2% for 2-3 year periods of collective bargaining, that's 6 years, without the consolidation of cost of living allowance. In recognition of the importance of social justice for all, and having regard for the principles of fairness, accountability, and transparency, not to mention the state of our country and the many citizens and the many cries facing workers and our citizens, and to address the pain and suffering of workers and citizens in general, the trade union movement now lists the following demands. And I want Commerce to take note of the demands. One, and I want your approval for every demand as those demands are announced here this afternoon. 1, reverse the cabinet decision to implement the recommendations of the 120th Salary Reviews Commission report. 2, settle all long outstanding negotiations. Bullet one of two. Instruct state bodies. Example, TNTEC, WASA, TSTT, NP, CAL, UTT, MTS, SWIMCAL, Lake Asphalt, PowerGen, National Quarries, Hilton, YTEP, RHS, NTA, National Trading Agency, and NatPet. Instruct all of them to meet with the respective recognized majority unions and associations and place a decent offer on the negotiation table. Comparable to those recommended in the SRC report. Forget that part. Comparable to that. Bullet 2 of 2. Withdraw all offers of 4% over 6 years without the consolidation of COLA. Example, UE, PTSC, all public officers, all deliberated workers, and TT posts, and place a decent offer on the negotiating table that is comparable to those recommendations of the SRC report. Bullet 3 of 2. Reopen all negotiations where unions were forced to accept the unfair paltry 4% over 6 years without the consolidation of COLA. Bullet 4 of 2. Ensure that COLA consolidation is maintained for all workers throughout Trinidad and Tobago. We move now to point 3. Implement all negotiated agreement between state enterprises and the respective recognized majority union, namely, the signed memoranda of agreement between the Port Authority of Trinidad and Tobago and the Seamen and Waterfront Workers Union. Bullet 2 of 3. The signed and register memoranda of agreement between PSA and NIB to pay the NIB workers 9% for period 1 of the collective bargain. Bullet 3 of 3. TT Post job evaluation. TT Post job evaluation that was completed and signed off in 2011. Implement that forthwith. And we didn't stop there. We did not stop there. We go on. 4. Introduce a living wage for all workers at the lower end of the economic ladder. Example, CPAP workers, URP workers, security officers, and all minimum workers. Great honor. Let's go. Five. Increase old age pension to allow our citizens, senior citizens, to cope with the vagaries of the ever-increasing cost of living. Any no money to pay them? Well, if you have money to pay them, we are people too. Same rule for Peter, same rule for Paul. Same rule for one, same rule for all. So we go on. And finally, 6 in the letter that was going to be delivered today. Investigate the Minister of Finance, Minister Coronel, in light of the recent recommendation by the Privy Council in the matter regarding the TT 2.5 billion still to be accounted for. Investigate the business. Investigate the leprechaun. Honorable Prime Minister, in at hands, comrade. The letter concludes, comrade.
The kindly debate office.
Coming. It's coming.
Kindly debate office, point 7.
That's coming. And we conclude, Honorable Prime Minister, like you, all the workers and every citizen of this democratic country are entitled to and deserve to feel safe, be treated fairly, justly, equitably, and should enjoy a decent standard of living where they can at minimum truly experience a life of dignity and respect. Respectfully yours. Respectfully yours. On behalf of JTOM, President, the Humble Servant, myself, and on behalf of NATOC, the NATOC's General Secretary, Comrade Michael Allison. Right, so we are going to do a public signing of this document.
Comrade PT, I am concerned about your state. And you cannot be safe to go down south. If you need to remember to talk about petrochem and the retiring. No?
All right. I'll be going to deliver that letter shortly, comrade. But before we do that, I want to remind Trinidad and Tobago that on the date, the 30th of November 2018, this government under Rowley, after demonizing the petrochem workers, after going through the length and breadth of the country, telling the, you only remember that? A capita working for somewhat $40,000, lying to the population, misleading the population, shutting down our country's major breadwinner that brings in foreign exchange to the country, shutting down in one of the worst economic decisions in modern history in this country, putting the country in turmoil, having you, the members of the public, suffer. Today you cannot get foreign exchange. It is because of what? The bad decision of Dr. Rowley and a fellow who used to lie plenty. Don't find him lying so much, he called him home. He called him home, Franklin Khan. Wicked. Thieving when he was working Petrotrin, stealing Petrotrin's data and giving it to his friend in lease operation. Franklin Khan, one of the most dishonest people in Trinidad and Tobago's history. But Rowley has a nest. He has a nest that accommodates dishonest people, because even though Franklin Khan died, they still continue with their dishonesty. And of course, he was replaced by one fella, Stuart Little. The little fella who jump up and feels he know everything. Stuart Young. Worst Minister of Energy we have ever seen in this country. Now, they took away the medical plan of the workers, while Rowley himself flies out of the country to get the best medical attention. They put the Petrotrin workers' pensions in jeopardy, while Rowley himself ensures that he has the best pension to get. So while they penalize the workers, it is all for them. And so, comrades, and so today, we also put before him the issue of the Petrotrin's closure, the pain and suffering and hardship to the people, through having to raise gas price not once, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, but 7 times, and the problems that we experience associated with that. He can't say for one moment who advised them, but you know what advised them to do that? The only people who benefit from that is a fella who celebrates and says, since after God, Rowley is his God. Because he could whine and dance, because he has 100 million in settlement. For what? Fake oil. Over 10 years guaranteed in Trinidad and Tobago's people, wells, oil production for him through some settlement they would have made out of court settlement. But comrades, all of those things would come to zero. All our actions would come to zero if we didn't put our anger into some type of action. And we must not just stop. We must be prepared to hurt them as they are hurting us. We must be able to determine who are our friends and who are our enemies. That when we are in trouble, who come to your rescue and who come to side with you to take you out of that problem. And those who create the problem cannot be those who are expected to fix it. The PNM is the most incompetent, arrogant government that has ever existed in this country. And the most corrupt government. So when they come to tell you the playbook will be this, let me put it out today. They will try to divide us on the basis of race. They will try to divide us on the basis of geography and religion. They will try to divide us so that we cannot come together as one united force to deal with their backsides and to vote them out. But we have to know where our interest lies. We must know who are our friends and who are our enemies. And anybody who have my pocket empty, my children hungry, community staff, they are my enemies. And we must be prepared to use the power vested in us through the Constitution, because you know what? We take it for granted. It is the same trade union movement, it is the same labor movement who fought for the right, adult suffrage, for citizens to vote in this country. One citizen, one vote. Before it was only the elites who could have voted. We fought for the trade union movement for the right for people to vote. And we must use that right in 2025 to make sure that people vote them out. So let's do the performance appraisal. And I want your response overwhelmingly. If you believe, for whatever reason, whether it be you're having a bad day or some wire disconnect in your brain, But if you believe for some kind of reason that this government should remain, that they're performing, if you believe that, and I want you here today to say that publicly. But that's just rhetorical. But if you believe through your own experience that they have not been performing in the categories of performance that I'm going to announce now, I want you to say yes or no. Indeed, I want you to say pass or fail. Because the SRC, which they would have commissioned, which they would have selected the SRC. That SRC is like himself to himself. So that's SRC's report. We're putting that aside. We're going to do our own performance appraisal. In the area of crime, crime and criminal activity, where our country today is reeling under extreme pressure, hiding behind barricades in our home, imposing self-imposed curfews, murders out of control, murders now being committed not only by nationals, but by Venezuelans, gangs, and murderers in our country. Our country's border wide open. Our country border now is wide open since Columbus came to our shores. In the area of crime, pass or fail. In the area of crime, did Dr. Rowley pass or fail? In the area of our economy, where they have mismanaged our economy, and the little resources that remain, they have taken it onto themselves, corruptly spent it, and hide it for themselves and their friends and the 1%. Crash our economy. And on the basis of that crash, people are suffering. So in the area of the performance of the economy, did Rowley pass or fail? In the area of agriculture, where we still today import, spend billions of dollars, billions of scarce foreign exchange to import food, which food could have been produced here, but which importation benefits the importers, the 1%. In the area of agriculture, did Rowley pass or fail? In the area of the treatment to the working class and the trade unions, treating workers, working people fair and equitably, ensuring that workers are provided with what? With a decent adjustment to mind their families and to spend back in the communities. In the area of treatment to workers, pass or fail?
Fail! And the biggest fail.
In the area of treatment, and by extension now, to our pensioners. So many retirees from the public service, so many policemen, members of the protective services, people who retire from statutory authorities and statutory boards and agencies, teachers, fire officers, who have to wait, what, 1, 2, 3 years, sometimes 4 years. Some of them die before getting their pension. Pass or fail? In the area of governance of the country, ensuring that this country progress and that people generally are given good governance. Pass or fail? I think there's one thing that he passed. In the area of corruption, to ensure that monies go into the pockets of their friends close families, and the 1%. Pass or fail? We go put the other way. Not being able to stop out corruption, but benefit from it. Pass or fail? Fail. All right. And that failure, comrade, that failure must be, that failure must be converted to action. We mustn't just stop. All right? So in birth now, the leprechaun, the midget, can't account for $2.5 billion, lies to the country, is now embroiled in being unable to account for billions of dollars in cost overruns in the Tobago airport project, some $850 million worth missing from PTSC, not being able to account for huge sums, billions of dollars, not being able to account for it. I just want to point out one thing. If it was any other government, if that was any other government, you would have heard them going through the length and breadth of the country. The smallest child now come out of the womb of the mother would have been saying, Kamala thief the money. Where she doing the money? She had to account for the money, But the privy council say, investigate him, and not one word for them sons of. Yeah. And that is the deceitfulness of them. We are saying today, three things. The most disgusting, corrupt, and the most disrespectful three letters that ever come together in the 26th letter of the alphabet is the three letters PNM. And we have to put an end to that. The PNM and Rowley must go. The PNM and Rowley must go. On the basis of that, today, in the presence of you, who would have witnessed the signing of that letter to be delivered to Keith Rowley, we want to make one last demand. One last demand. We cannot go much longer with the pain and suffering. Some of us might dead by that time. We can't last longer. So on the basis of that and the suffering of the masses, we are saying, call the elections now! Call the elections now! Call the elections now! We demand that you call the elections now so that workers and the people can enjoy a decent standard of living. All right. We're going to deliver the letter, and we want you to accompany us in the delivery of that letter. And let us have a fantastic fantasy moment as we deliver that letter. Yeah? If he's not in the office, he might be home. So if he's not in the office and he's not home, somebody home will give him that. So follow us, comrades. Accompany us as we deliver that. our leaders will go up and if, yeah, matter of fact, they could come down and accept. They want to gather. Nobody's gathering. No, we just going to the longer we stay.
You're causing a gathering. You're causing a gathering.
That's all. The longer we stay, that will constitute and encourage gathering. Right? Yeah. So all we want to do, yeah. Nobody are going up there.
Right? And you say, come and say, hey, you only can't do that.
Slave, we don't want to bring back in this place.
Uncle Errol.
Oh.
Comrades?
Yeah. They want to hear, so they say come down there.
All right, so we want to leave peacefully as we came. We have had a very successful gathering and successful rally this morning. The climax of the rally was to deliver the demands on behalf of the people and you, the workers, to the Prime Minister. We were told by the security detail that they do not have a protocol officer to receive the document. When I asked if they have a mailbox, they don't have that. When I asked if he, the security detail, can receive it, he said he have no such instructions. Now, because that document is signed on behalf of you, the workers, and the people, the suffering masses, we could not come back with that document. It ought to be delivered to the person to whom it is addressed.
Yes.
And therefore we told him, the security officer, that we are not prepared to go back with it. He said on Monday morning, the people all of the protocol people, they would come and we can deliver it to them. He said to him that we are not coming back. He said, well, we could hold on until then. Well, we are saying the time for that is near, but not today. Not today. There would come a time when we would come here and we would not go back.
Oh, yes!
There would come a time when we would come here and we would not leave until they leave.
Yes!
But we have to prepare. And that time, we shall be accompanied by many, many, many more thousands of us.
Yes.
That time is not today. But having the importance of that document at hand, we left it right on the gate. Say that to the media. We left it on the gate, no littering. We left it on the gate, safe and secure, where they can get it and convey it to the Prime Minister. You want to do all your wickedness, spitefulness, you want to be so unjust, you want to be greedy. And I don't know what he wants to do with all that money. If how much wife he has to take care of. I don't know what he wants to do with all that money. But you want to be greedy. You want everything for yourself. And when the people cry out for justice, you barricade yourself with police. When you were in opposition, it was different. When you were in opposition, you would have been pounding down that gate. But at the thing, the pages turn. The time is coming soon. We want to disperse, comrades. We want to conclude today's activity by saying that enough is enough, and we would have succeeded. We would have succeeded in our task today. I want to thank comrades for coming out today and accompanying us in doing our duty as trade unionists, in doing our duty. Many people who today cannot put bread or food on the table for their children, not knowing where the next meal is coming from, not knowing how they're going to face this Christmas, not knowing how they're going to deal with the bailiffs that are coming for them, not knowing how they're going to deal with the joblessness, the increased taxation. Those people today we spoke on behalf of all of those people. And so let's give ourselves a round of applause for standing up. History will record us. History will record us for standing up when it was time to stand up and doing the right thing. We are on the right side of the pages of history, comrades. Yes. And there's nothing wrong for us continuing to do the right thing over and over and over and over again. Never mind those, the critics, the minions, the sycophants who would try to separate us. Let us continue to unite on behalf of the future of this country, our beloved country, Trinidad and Tobago. Our children deserve a better future. Our children deserve a better country. The tree that we stand under today and get shade from the smelting sun was a tree planted by those who went before us. We have to plant trees so that the future children will be trees. Thank you very much, comrade. As we say, forward ever. Forward ever. Forward to the people. Forward to the trade union movement. The power of the people is always greater than the people in power. Yes, thank you.
Good night again to you, the people at Trinidad and Tobago. That there was the whole broadcast with the joint trade union movement at Port of Spain in front of the Prime Minister's residence. Many of the people there would have came out. Many of the people there would have came out and supported the movement. That was the entire talk there. And as again, I would have said from the beginning, thanks to the Gayelle personnel for taping this whole broadcast and for doing this joint broadcast with us today. The people at Trinidad and Tobago is crying out and is looking for another option, an option that is feasible, an option that lack or devoid of this tyrant behavior that we are getting from this government. Now is exactly 9:58. What we are going to play today is the again, just to refresh your memory, something from Dr. Keith Christopher Rowley in which he would have said he would have accepted the SRC report. And, you know, Colin Imbud would have been saying that, you know, he don't know nothing about this match. Why? This is the acceptance here with Rowley on record in which he was saying that he accept.
I want to say here today, if it is that there are those who believe that the country's leadership is of no value, produces no value, and should be ashamed to accept the recommendation of a commission whose job it is to have done the work and to make recommendations to a cabinet. If it is that there's a view that one should be ashamed or to hide from that, I take full responsibility for advising the cabinet that after 13 years of this work, that the members of the government who run this country, a $60 billion enterprise, that the acceptance of the SRC report, for those who believe that this is hurtful to other people, I simply want to say that the order of doing things has to be taken into account. I know there are those who believe that members of the cabinet ought not to be, or the parliament ought not to be, in fact, taken seriously. But let's face it, and therefore to say that the country can't afford to reasonably compensate its management structure is to make an admission that I don't want to make, because I don't think that's a reasonable conclusion. And therefore, I will accept the work of the commission. That's why, in the details of what I just said about the JLSC members, the cabinet is not going to try to adjudicate on those nuances in there, but send it back to the SRC and let them deal with it and advise the cabinet as to what is it. And one has to assume that in doing its work, that the SRC would look at the issues raised by other people in the country to come to a recommendation. I make that assumption. And that assumption is that the SRC would make the recommendation, and to deal with it by acceptance is a political issue. Always has been, and always will be. And that is why today, for telling the country that we will accept the recommendation, I am prepared to deal with it as a political issue. Because it is a political issue, and that is why I'm not surprised that the opposition leader is out of the blocks, trying to get a leg up in a political issue. But in misleading the public by saying that I don't want it, when in fact it doesn't even concern her. Because in this particular situation, as a former prime minister, while she's stirring up heat, knows very well that nothing that goes on there affects her. Because as a former prime minister, her payment from a pension angle is already setting under the Pension Act. And insofar that she's still functioning in the parliament, arrangements are being made that even if the new highest level that is offered to her falls into play, she still is not affected in any way. And I want the population to know that and to receive their recommendation in that context. As for other persons who believe that the best thing to do to the country is to say, okay, we will not accept it, but we will pay ourselves differently, I don't lead my troops in that direction. And as for the people in the country who believe that if the members of the government and the parliament are in fact to accept the recommendations of the committee that is set under the Constitution for that express purpose is for them to be ashamed, then so be it. So be it. We believe that we bring value by working hard, by working honestly, for the people of the country. And the benefits are there to be seen by those who want to see benefits. And that is where the political discussion comes in. And that is why it's a political issue for those who want to discuss it on a political platform. I am ready to do that.
Now, to you, the people at Trinidad and Tobago, you hear what the Prime Minister say. He's willing to accept the report of the SRP despite offering you the public servant at 4%. A 4% that can do nothing. A 4% that is 2, 1, 1, then 2. A 4% that is despicable. And up till now, it cannot keep up with this rate of inflation that we are facing here in Trinidad and Tobago. The current government of Trinidad and Tobago decide to make sure and pay themselves despite of the hardship that the people of Trinidad and Tobago is facing. Trinidad and Tobago. Despite what is taking place within our economy, despite the cutbacks on the food card system, despite the cut downs at T and Tech and all these government agencies and them, despite all of that, they would have decided to give themselves a huge part of the pie. And we must consciously ask ourselves in going forward, is this the type of governance that we want? A government that separates itself from the people. And despite what is taking place within our country, they don't want to suffer along with us. They still want to eat ham, lamb, jam, and enjoy a Merry Christmas. Despite all of that, is that the kind of governance that we are looking for? Any right-thinking and smart person outside here, let me separate the sheep from the goat. Is this what we want going forward? Is this what we want? A prime minister that is unapologetic, uncaring, unkind. You could hear that from the words that he speaks, from how he relates to journalists, to the people that interview him. You're hearing that within his voice. Is this what we want for governance in Trinidad and Tobago? Is this what we want? Somebody that is disconnected with what we are feeling on the ground, with what we are experiencing. Many of us come out of school and within this period and wondering why you can't get a job. Many of us are saying that, why educate yourself? Why go through this hardship? Some of you just moving out of Trinidad and Tobago. This is the union, the joint trade union movement. Many of the movement was there. See prisons. You see the pilots and them was well represented. Unions from all over Trinidad and Tobago. Citizen. Many of the people could not have been there, but so be it. And before we leave this afternoon, I'm going to play a song before we leave. And after that, we are going to sign off. Thanks for joining us here on this live stream. Everybody on the live, thanks for joining us. Just let me run through this live here real quick and see who was viewing us on this live stream here this afternoon, so I could shout out some of you. Yes, this is live, by the way. Right, so the people that would have joined us, Nadira Just School, Riaz Rajab, Bomati, Tobago, Clement from Tobago East Side, good night to you, sir. And good night to many of you that are outside here. I'll play a song from here. I hope the PNMites and them, I hope you listen.
all yeah, yeah, man. My old brain boy, social media have me confused. The abbreviations, I was confused. To me, it make no sense. I actually thought that I was dense. Abbreviations got the better of me. Now I seeing that they're real easy. With BRB, be right back, yes. LOL, have to be the best. Laugh out loud is me for sure. And the PNM means please no more. Please no more. It's true that everybody using Trinidad, they had enough for somebody. Please no more. Listen, it's on Instagram, it's on TikTok, it's on Facebook, it's everything they use, and this is the abbreviation. Yeah, man. Listen, young people use these all the time. They would tax this old brain of mine. It was letters in place of words. To me it was high, high like the birds. SMH, they shake my head. WTF, if I say that I'm dead. The newest one that I saw is PNM. It means please no more. Please no more. It's so effective, what it is? Please no more. I'm telling you, if anybody confusing in a chat, like they want to tell you what to do, like they're bossy, like they want to dictate your pace, just write in the chat, PNM in the chat, please no more. Abbreviations simpler than I thought, but in the earlies your boy got caught. Could not read messages properly. I tell you, they really caught me with TTYL. Talk to you later. I know right, IKR neighbor. But the one they're using more and more is PNN. It means please no more. Please no more. Let me tell you, everybody using it now, you know. Please no more. And here the man is a P, a N, and a M, and a little emoji crying. If you see tears, you ever see an emoji drum? And after you use it, you have to block them. Yes! In politics, they just do it too, with abbreviations. You know it's true. PDP, MSJ, UNC, and independent is ME. Oh my God, is OMG. Hit me back is HMB. The one in use like never before is PNM. When you want to say what? Please no more. Yes, please no more. Please, please. Please no more. Oh God. So all you know now, the old brain clearing up. I understand very much how the thing working. If you want to get rid of somebody, that's what you have to put. PNM, please.